What is going on, you guys? It is your host, Galdon. You're watching Galdon Gaming Clash Royale action and the Galabait Zap Bait deck. Yes, I know people are going to get mad if I call it the Galabait deck because I'm sure lots of other people have used this deck in the past. But I gotta tell you, I am having a blast using this deck in challenges and in trophy play. And the funny thing is about the way this deck works is you're always trying to bait out that zap, and when it happens right towards the end of a very close battle, you know you've won. It's just that feeling where it's like, oh, I baited out your zap, you're screwed, I've got the Goblin Barrel in hand, maybe even the mirrored Goblin Barrel ready, and sometimes maybe it's a little bit bad manner to throw up a good game that early, but it does slip out every now and then, and we'll also see where it can come back to bite you in the butt. But for now, we're just kind of showing some battles with the Zap Bait deck. Now, this is my arch enemy, usually, the Lava Hound. Lava Hound Balloon, and not only that, Lava Hound Balloon, Mega Minion Clone, everything I hate. Okay, well, he doesn't have Elite Barbs, or Sparky, or Royal Giant, or an XBow. Anyway, okay, so the Lava Hound deck, I seem to have a lot of problem with, but here is my new strategy. I'm starting to drop furnaces out in front of the tower when I see the hound coming. I've got the minion horde ready, and if it can stay up, that's a big if right there. Now somehow I missed the balloon with that fireball, but it still works out, and only the balloon damage gets to the tower, just the crash damage gets there, and we're a little bit behind right now, but we're feeling okay. We've stopped what could have been a big disastrous push, but then again, we have not seen the clone spell yet. And people that are efficient with the clone spell definitely have a way of just annihilating you with the splash and crash damage from the balloon and, of course, the Lava Hound and the pups. Now, having the furnace is a big deterrent to the clone spell simply because of that splash damage, getting those one hit point units out very, very quickly. So here comes another Lava Hound. So here goes another furnace, the forward furnace fiery frontal frustration, stopping those Lava Hounds. In comes the balloon, the Mega Minion. I go with my minions once again. There's the clone spell, but check out that fireball. Just perfect timing from the fireball, and this time, no loons get anywhere near my tower. In fact, that furnace, still very healthy. We've got a princess that helped out on the right momentarily. She is lost, but she did her job, and I've got time for yet another furnace. 3 furnaces up and burning right now. In comes the Goblin Barrel. He's going to zap that one partially. Second Goblin Barrel is going to get a lot of damage in there. Now we've just got to hold that Lava Hound off. Fireball on the tower and on the Mega Minion. Another big minion confrontation. That forward furnace helping out. We're into overtime. And watch closely as we get ready to bait out that zap spell. Right there, he uses his zap, and we know that the Goblin Barrel is going to do some serious damage on the tower. On its way, lands. He can only try to counter with the Mega Minion. A second Goblin Barrel goes in. He's got minions in as well, but it's going to be too little too late. We've gotten it down to the magical 1 fireball, 1 zap, or 1 log level, and that's where we are right now. Just have to rotate around to the log, and we've got this one in the bag. All the balloons in the world can't get the job done. I don't care if you clone them. There goes my trusty spiked friend, and a little bit of rage from the opponent. As soon as he used that zap spell on my units and he didn't get the tower, he knew he was in deep, deep trouble. So we'll move on to another battle, another grand challenge. And again, now this deck, I do love it when I have the furnace first. I'm almost always going to place that furnace right at 10 elixir, and it's really ideal to have it first because you can deter almost any push. Even if Elite Barbs come in, like they do here, you're going to be, well, almost ready for it. I do let one slip away. We log it back. He zaps, but of course that does not one-shot the minions. And we've lost about 500 off that tower. So once again, early damage, but in comes our Goblin Barrel. This one just kind of a tester. We want to see what he's got, what he's going to use to try to counter it. The Fireball, I love that. Anytime I can get a Fireball on a 3 elixir unit and the tower, that is going to work for me. So we're down to about 2 minutes left, and here's a surprise, a Goblin Hut. The Spear Goblin Hut comes out, and the exchange between the Fire Spirits from my Furnace and a Spear Goblin Hut, definitely in my favor. You'll notice one after the other, The one fire spirit takes out the spear goblin, leaving the second one to move on after the tower or after the hut itself. Minions in the back. We're going to go ahead and drop a princess. Pretty happy about this princess drop, I have to say. In retrospect, this worked out really well. She's going to help out right there, beautifully taking everybody out, and she avoids the fireball. A second mirrored princess. What am I even thinking? I don't know. I'm just a big fan of mirrored princesses. So here comes the goblin barrel, and it's going to get zapped. That's okay. It does get some damage in because he was delayed. He was thinking about using it on the Elite Barbarians, but that is where the deck is strong. He was not able to protect the Elite Barbs. He was going to use it to zap my skeleton army. Instead, he realized he had to use it on defense, and that is that flexibility of this zap bait deck. You can either force him to not be able to prevent your Skarmy from taking out his EBs, or he's going to have to try to deal with the Goblin Barrel. He can't do both. All right, so we are into the final 60 seconds. In comes the Hog Rider. There goes the Goblin Barrel. He's got the zap spell ready. That one works. Okay, but wait for it. It's going to happen. We're going to successfully bait out that zap and cost him the game any second now. We've got a pretty big push. Fireball takes out the archers. Here come the Elite Barbs. Here comes the counter with the minions. There's the zap spell right there. Good game. We know that we've stopped this push. He has used his zap, and we have our Goblin Barrels. There I throw up the bit early good game. We don't get the tower down with the Goblin Barrel alone, but we know, once again, it is just a log's damage away from ending this game. No matter how many Elite Barbs come at the tower, they've got to get through that furnace first. The log does it once again. Hashtag love the log. A mirrored log just for good measure. And another win for the Gala Zap Bait deck. Okay, let's just call it Gala Bait deck. Gala Bait deck, I like it. Okay, so moving on, yet another replay, another Grand Challenge battle, and I believe at this point I was 6-0 in Grand Challenges. Now this guy, again, the Zap card is probably the most commonly used card in any deck. So we're going to go ahead and assume that every single player has it, and that's one of the reasons that this deck works out so well, is because players are almost always carrying Zap these days, so you know you can bait it out, and they don't really have another answer, although I will tell you, the Electro Wizard, it's a pretty solid answer. When this deck runs across a guy running Electro Wizard and Zap, I'm in a lot of trouble. Fire Spirit's also very effective, but it's pretty rare still that people bring Fire Spirits or an Electro Wizard with a Zap deck. So that is where I'm having my advantage right now, and that's where things are working out. Now, hopefully that's not going to change, but we'll see. Right there, yes, a little oops from Galadon. That was a definite Gala fail, as I managed to miss the princess with the log. That cost me the rest of that furnace. But my princess on the left, she's going to get a few hundred off that tower. Ice Spirit just going to delay things. Wish I had dropped in the Skarmy right here. I really feel like had I dropped the skeleton army in earlier, she could have survived. I knew it was coming. I knew he was going to send the miner over there, but I just didn't do it. Didn't think quite quickly enough, not thinking on my feet. And no, it doesn't have anything to do with age. Shut up, Peter. All right, back to the game. That time the log does not miss. It grabs that princess. He's going to try to move in with another miner. Again, trying to get that miner in on my tower in combination with other units, even like a Hog Rider, but we're keeping the pressure on. The princess getting out to the river again, and again, the Skarmy is too late to save her. Trying to get to the tower, not going to happen, but here comes the Goblin Barrel, and here comes the Zap on the Goblins. That's okay, because that's the last time that he's going to get that done effectively. The mirrored Goblin Barrel gets in there this time, and that is about 800 damage off that tower, maybe 1,000. Great job by the Goblin Barrel right there. The Ice Wizard not getting the job done. The log gets me down to 404. It is an error loading that page on that tower, because all we have to do is stuff this push on the right-hand side. There, he's used the Zap. We know it's good game because his Zap is gone. No solid counter to the Goblin Barrel, and that's the tower. So right there, with about 30 seconds left, we knew this one was over. Now it's just a matter of holding him off. We baited out the Zap that time because he was trying to take out that huge mess. The Skarmy and those minions were in that area. He dropped the Zap on them, and immediately, as soon as that happened, I knew this game was over. There it is. Now he drops the good game. The final seconds count down, and another Gala Zap, Gala Bait, Gala Zap Bait I forget. You guys tell me. Win. Okay, so let's move on to another replay. And this is, well, let's just say sometimes it comes back to bite you in the butt. Now, obviously, look at this guy's deck. Goblins, Fire Spirits, Zap, Ice Spirit. He's got all sorts of different, very inexpensive counters to my Goblin Barrel. So, I should have known. Okay, but I'll admit to you guys, at this point, I'm about 7-0 in a Grand Challenge. I'm on a roll, and I'm already thinking about how this would make a good video. How these replays of me throwing up a good game as soon as he uses his Zap spell before the timer is count down is going to be kind of funny, kind of interesting. And so I got a little bit cocky, a little bit overconfident. I'll admit it. It happens to people. Maybe not to you, but it does happen to me. And so you're going to see in a little bit that I'm going to throw up a good game, and it's not going to be so good. Now, this guy has the Elite Barb and Ice Golem push. Luckily, I'm able to squeeze the Skarmy in behind the Ice Golem. We don't lose all of them, and right here, beautiful, love it, clutch mirror card on the Skeleton Army. That is one of the absolute keys right now. If I know they're running Elite Barbs and zapping my Skarmy, dropping in that second Skeleton Army almost every time is going to give me the ability to stop the Elite Barbs. Now, this guy does also have Fire Spirits. When combined with Elite Barbs and then zap, well, I'm in a world of hurt, or the Ice Golem. So far, so good, though. We're down to about a minute and a half left. He doesn't really have any surprises left in his pocket as far as his cards. I know pretty much what he's carrying, and he's only barely touched my right tower so far. Here comes another Ice Golem Elite Barb push. This time countered, though, with a log and minions. Doesn't work out quite as well. The zap spell just stuns. We lose a few hundred off that tower, but he used the zap once again, so it's time for a Goblin Barrel, this time on the right tower, which is the slightly more damaged of the two. And he's going to counter with the old Shank Goblins, the Stabby Goblins. They get the job done. So unfortunately, that's where I kind of made the mistake of not realizing that this guy's got a diversity of cards that can counter the Barrel Goblins. This time, though, the Goblin Barrel gets in there. The Ice Golem can only do so much, and that's massive damage. We are well under 1,000 hit points, less than a minute left. Just trying to lure out one more time the Zap spell. We see that Ice Spirit on its way. Elite Barbs and Fire Spirits down the left-hand side. We know that they're going to eat up that Skarmy, but we've got a second one to drop down. The second Skeleton Army, and there is the log. That saves that tower. Right-hand side, another Goblin Barrel. That's the good game. We know he used his Zap, but he's got Ice and Fire down there, so a little bit early. And that's where I kind of just felt the lump in my throat as I had thrown up the good game, and in comes the Elite Barb push one more time. He zaps yet again. We have to go back to the Mirrored Skeleton Army, but check out the right-hand side. Yes, the Fire Spirits from the Furnace have just about gotten the job done. In comes one gotten around to zap again, but we just have to Fireball log it and grab the win. So maybe a little bit early on the good game that time, almost caught me, but it worked out in the end. Let me know if you guys try out the Galabait deck, and as always, thank you for watching this episode all the way to the bitter end, or the sweet end. You guys are the true #Galafam. Love you all, and hope to see every last one of you right back here again tomorrow for more full attacks.